let's talk about something right now that everybody has asked about. People have asked, who do you think never got a world heavyweight championship that should have got it? I'm going to start this out, and I believe that we all will agree with this. Ted DiBiase.
Yes.
He should have been a world champion somewhere.
Yes.
Because he was so good. Jack, who do you think? Who was the one guy that you looked at and said, listen, he should have been a world heavyweight champion. He never was. They never gave the belt to him.
Tully Blanchard.
Yeah. Tully would have been a tremendous world heavyweight champion because he knew the psychology. He was in great shape. He could have went an hour if he needed to go an hour. Tully Blanchard. Rodney?
Honestly, Dick Slater. Slater could do the interview. He could dress. We saw him in an Olivia original robe in this particular show. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the great Georgia heavyweight champions was Dick Slater, right alongside of wrestling too. So I'd pick Dick Slater right up there.
What about Dick Murdoch?
It's possible, yes.
If he wouldn't have done his comedy stuff, take his comedy stuff out of it, would he have been a good world champion?
I think so.
Now, Dr. Philbo Grice says Jack should have been world champion.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, he could have been.
If Magnum TA would not have had the accident, would he have been a good world heavyweight champion?
I think he would have.
I think he could too, because I think he was learning.
Rodney, I think he would have been a major player for years to come.
I think he would have been a short-termer, just like Dusty and Tommy Rich. I don't think it would be something for long-term, but sure, he could have been. He could have been, but I don't think it would have been a long-term thing for him.
What about Paul Orndorff?
Yeah, sure he could have.
Yeah, Paul had that intensity that, that he brought that realism to it. So, yeah, I think Paul would have been great.
Yeah, and Paul, he knew psychology. He could have, and he'd have been a different world champion. He would have done a little bit more than Flair, Harley Race, those guys. How about Arn Anderson? Could he have been world champion?
Yeah, I think he could have. He cut great interviews, and of course he could. I always considered Arn one of probably the best workers in the world. I mean, he's in that top 10, in my opinion, of my list of guys.
Rodney, who else do you think could be? That should have been world champion.
Terry was the UWF champion, but I don't really classify that as a world title. That's more of a regional title. But Terry Gordy could have been a world champion easily. He had the size in it, and he could actually do the interview if necessary, and he can work either way. That's important in whoever you have. It's important that they would be able to work either way. Wrestling too actually could work either way. But one of the things about being a world champion, you can't be a masked man.
This is true.
Bill Eadie would have been a great champion as well.
Yeah.
Oh, he would have. Oh, he would have been tremendous. Mickey Mayfield said, Junkyard Dog should have been world champion.
Yeah.
I think he could have done well.
Yeah.
He could have done well. I don't know that he could have had long matches. That would have been the only thing.
No.
Robert was saying Tim Woods, and he's right. Tim Woods could have been a great champion.
Mickey Mayfield said Steve Kern. He was a good wrestler.
Yeah, he was a really good wrestler.
Before he became a fabulous one. I don't know what happened to him when he became a fabulous one. He just got horrible for some reason. David Von Erich.
Yeah, David was actually groomed to be world champion.
He was going to be world champion, and they were actually going to put the title on him. Wahoo McDaniel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Robert Walker said Tim Woods.
Tim Woods, yeah.
Tim Woods would have been a great champion. Michael Barr said that Paul Orndorff could have been world champion for a long run, and Arn Anderson as well. Richard Hood said Terry Taylor should have been a world champion. Hey, we love you, Richard, but I don't know if we all can agree. We can agree with Terry Taylor. Now, don't get me wrong. Terry was a good wrestler.
Yeah.
He was a good. Everything he did was solid, looked good. There was nothing that he did that looked bad. But man, he'd had to have been a babyface champion because when they turned him heel, he was horrible. I mean, he was bad. Daniel Lang said David Von Erich. Richard Hood said Tony Atlas.
He could have.
Tony Atlas. Michael Barr said, could Jerry Stubbs have been world champion? Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Yes. Jerry Stubbs was one of the best wrestlers and never gets the credit he deserves.
Yep.
He was a tremendous wrestler, no doubt. Blackjack Mulligan.
Yeah, he was a great. I think he was a decent United States champion too. So yeah, I think Blackjack Mulligan would have been a good one.
Robert Walker said Ken Patera.
And he had that the Olympics going for him, and it was big and strong. Georgia, he didn't get over too good, but too well, but he did in the Carolinas and in AWA. I'm not sure what happened in Georgia. Something just didn't work out.
Well, Victor Nash said Ron Simmons, but Ron Simmons was the world heavyweight champion.
He was a WCW champion.
So he was the world heavyweight champion, and I thought he did a great job. Mickey Mayfield said bruiser Brody.
I could see Bruiser, but Bruiser was one of those guys that didn't need a title.
No.
Sure.
I don't think it would have made a difference in his career whatsoever.
How about Ole Anderson?
Yeah, I mean, he could have, but Ole, he positioned himself as a tag team wrestler, but he could have. He never really pushed himself in singles. It was always tag teams. I mean, he did, I think at one time he was a TV champion at one time, but it was very rare that he had a singles title. It was always in tag team, but that's what he specialized in. And most of the time, he was the boss. So, there you go.
This is true. This is true. Is there anyone else that we're missing that could have been a world heavyweight champion, and we were just overlooking it? Except for Rodney. Is there anyone else that should have been a world heavyweight champion?
Michael Barr was saying Bob Armstrong, and he would have been, because again, you have to have the flexibility to work both ways. And Victor was also saying Andre the Giant, Les Thornton.
Roddy Piper. Michael Halton said Roddy Piper, but he didn't really need the title.
Right.
Nick Bockwinkel was one of the greatest world champions of all time.
Yep.
So is there anybody we're missing? And then we're going to move on to another subject.
I believe right now you really caught me off guard on that one. I
would get that, but hey, I thought we did a great job on it, even if I just hit you up.
As far as all of the ones we talked about, and I've talked about it before, Ted DiBiase, and I'm not sure if a comment was made about Ted up there before, but Ted DiBiase, I think, would have been just top notch as world champion.
Yes, there's no doubt he would have been a great world champion.